Hello, friends. Today's episode is brought to you by From Within Records. If you missed out on the Fatal Realm tape/zine combo, the restock is available now in a new colorway. So please do yourself a favor, head over to FromWithinRecords.com and grab this colorway before it's too late. If you're not subscribed to the From Within Records podcast, please go boot up Spotify, click that subscribe button and stay up to date on all the current episodes. And like I always say, please support From Within Records because they support us. If you're looking for high quality merch for your band or for your business, please hit up my friends over at Good Fortune Printing out of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. You can follow them on Instagram at Good Fortune Printing. If you want to get in contact with them, please email them, contact@goodfortuneprinting.com. You can thank me later. Before we get into today's episode, this one was really fun for me because I've been such a big fan of the band Two Witnesses. So to be able to have the singer Mo on the podcast meant a lot to me because when I go out to Louisville, I go mainly to see my good friend Tyler Short, Ashton. I'm very appreciative of them. They house me. They always show me a good time, but I'm just a stranger going into their scene. So it's always fun for me to be able to just go and observe and experience real Louisville hardcore. And I go and I obviously know who certain people are. And for like the first two times I went out there, I did not get introduced to Mo. It wasn't until the most recent trip where I finally got an introduction. So I was very happy with that. And I was stoked that he knew who I was, because I'm always surprised and always humbled whenever I meet anybody in person and they know who I am and what I do with this podcast. It definitely means a lot to me. So I truly mean it when I say I appreciate everybody that tunes into these things every week. So it was just really cool for me to be able to have met him in person and just to be able to call him a friend. So shout out to Mo. We met officially on my last trip to Louisville when I went to the fest, and we had talked about him coming on the podcast. So I'm happy that we were able to lock it in and make it happen. This was a really fun one for me to be able to hear about his journey through hardcore, because I've known about his bands long before I met him. So it was cool to kind of go back and talk about his projects before Two Witnesses, and then to be able to hear about the origin of Two Witnesses and everything leading up to what they're doing today. It was a real treat for me. And if you're listening to this podcast and you're not familiar with who Two Witnesses are, I highly suggest you hit pause, go boot up your Spotify, Bandcamp, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube, whatever. Go listen to everything from the demo all the way up till the most recent self-titled. It's awesome. If you get a chance, please go see them live, support that band, support Streets of Hate. I love everything that Two Witnesses is doing. They put out a music video for their most recent album. They did a music video for the song Law of the Land, which was cool. I was there for that music video shoot. I didn't know it was happening, but when I was at the LDB showcase, they just so happened we're filming that day, and it was really cool. I geek out when I watch the music video and I can see myself in there. Obviously, I was just there for the show portion, not like the actual like music video, like other scenes when they're like out on the street and stuff. But that was really cool too. But like I said, if you're not familiar with Two Witnesses, I hope you are after this episode, because it was just really cool to hear Mo talk about hardcore. I feel like he said some really important things about just hardcore in general. This one was fun for me, and I hope all of you enjoy this as much as I did. So please strap in, enjoy this conversation. Without further ado, welcome Mo to the show.
1, 2, 3.
All right, and we're recording. Welcome to the podcast, Mo. How's it going?
How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, the last memory I have of you is us at Knock Bar. You introduced me to your sister, and then you just disappeared. And I cannot like. I don't think we interacted at all for the rest of the time we were there.
Uh, yeah, that's unfortunately not a rare story. Consider how it goes.
Yeah, but that was an awesome time. If I'm going to be honest, normally I'm kind of apprehensive when people want to go out to the bar because that's not really my scene. But
I get you.
when we were at the bar before Knock Bar, when we were at the Merriweather, I was okay just drinking my Shirley Temple, watching Spirited Away at the bar. But then you called me over and you just made me feel really welcome. So I just really appreciated that because it made the whole vibe way better after you called me over.
You're too kind. Yeah, it's kind of always been a thing. I mean, in Louisville, in the center of the country, in the Bible Belt, it's like we always had this bad rep of like, this place sucks. Who wants to go to Kentucky? Blah blah blah. So I mean, I think a bunch of our crew, like Tyler, Alex, the Knock guys, we really have like made it muscle memory for anybody that's wanted to come visit and actually like see the town itself, not just the show, because a lot of people just come for the show and don't actually see where we live and stuff. So if we can make them feel welcome, we're doing our part. We all love it here. I mean, it's like heaven here. So I'm glad you felt that way.
Yeah, and I always had to give credit to my friend Natalie. I say friend, but I have not talked to her since she moved away. She moved from Orange County, I think, to Louisville or somewhere out there in the Midwest. I
believe I've met Natalie several times. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because she's the first person that I can remember from California being like, telling everybody like, hey, like you got to go to Midwest Blood. It's cool out there. But this is back when like people like even like me, I was questioning her like, why are you going out there? What's out there? That's kind of weird. But yeah, so anytime I talk to anybody from the area, I always got to give her props because she was like ahead of her time.
Awesome. Did you have fun this year?
Yeah, I think I had more fun, but also this was kind of like a redemption arc for myself because the last time I was in Louisville, I probably shouldn't have gone because I was like deathly sick. And I've like, it was so weird because like traveling to Louisville, I thought I was over the hump of being sick, but literally like the night of the showcase, I was just dying the whole time. And and even like after the showcase, like I didn't even watch like Weapon X. I just like asked Ashton for the keys to the truck and I went and slept in the truck, and then they just took me back to their house, and Tyler and Ashton went out and they left me at their house because they just knew I was just dying, and I was just so and I was just so happy that they were okay.
How was Tyler's truck, man?
Oh, for me,
Isn't it awesome?
It's awesome, but for me, like if I'm tired, I can fall asleep anywhere, and especially if I'm like dying, like so that was no problem for me. But yeah, I just had such a rough time, and I was like, even like the day after the show, because I was just in Tyler's house, like coughing up blood, just dying, feeling bad. So I was just happy to come back and be healthy, but also be able to like enjoy being there and actually be social and interact with people. So yeah, so this time it was just a really great time.
It was a good vibe, man. It's like leading up to it, I definitely think this one had a lot of animosity surrounding it on the local level, and but it's cool, once everything's said and done, it gets there. You're with the people you care about in a city that you love, that you get to be the host of, man. And it's like, it's what you put in is what they're going to take away. And it was really great hanging out with you that weekend.
Yeah, I really appreciate it because for me, being from California, obviously I'm just way more fascinated to travel to the fest to get to see the things that I normally don't, right? Like I love getting to see the local bands from your scene, but then also like the newer bands popping up from like the other side of the country that haven't made it to California yet. So I think that's why like I really enjoy traveling out to fests outside of California because I get to just see a whole different side of hardcore.
Right. No, totally. That's awesome. What part of California are you from again? I'm
sorry. I live in Orange County. Like I literally live down the street from Disneyland.
Okay. So you never got to see like Lights Out or anything growing up, like that whole era, like kind of early 2000s?
I saw Lights Out once.
The reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, that was a good lineup.
Yeah, but Living
They're
Hell,
like one of my favorite bands, so that's why I asked.
no, yeah, Living in Southern California, I feel like it's kind of like a cheat code because this is like such a destination, and especially
Right.
like for me, like because I've been going to shows since like 2002, so I've got to see like a lot
Oh,
of great
for sure.
hardcore.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so it's
You've seen
really
it
cool.
all, man.
I'm sorry.
You've seen it all.
I've seen a lot, and it definitely there's moments where like I'll talk to younger kids, and it's no fault of their own because like they just weren't around back then. But when I get to tell stories or share memories of seeing bands that like they're like waiting for like the reunions to come back, I'm like, damn, I'm fucking old.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife, and I was just explaining like kind of like the trends of like from that era, what you're talking about, till now with like fashion and stuff, and like how then it was just like dudes in like giant cargo shorts with like the youth media mental shirt and the dunks, and like to now everybody's like dressing like they're going to climb Mount Everest. It's like they got like the Solomons and like the fucking windbreakers that are $2,000, and it's all sick. I mean, I think hardcore through even the mid 2000s when it was like wearing some Timbs and like a tall tee and a wife beater, like that was cool too. But it is like you've been around so long, you see this, and it's like, what the fuck is gonna happen next, man? Like,
Well, for me, I feel like I have seen like the wheel turn so many times, right? Like I feel like I've gotten to see every like subgenre of hardcore have its moment and
right.
be like the popular thing. And like I've seen the fashion come and go, right? Like my favorite thing is just seeing how popular like camo will be, and then it'll kind of drop off, but then it'll make its like way back.
Well, I mean, with Tyler, that's a mainstay, bro.
He's he's always wearing camo pants,
Dude, that's loyalty right there. But yeah.
So I'm just really curious about you. Like, are you born and raised in Louisville?
Yeah, I'm a native. I was born here, lived here my whole life. So.
And how did you discover hardcore in Louisville?
Discovered hardcore. I mean, obviously, like nu metal was like the thing before that, and it was kind of like what my father. Not to get too deep too early, but it's like my father would take me alongside to like NA meetings and AA meetings that he would go to, and kind of just put me with my CD player and a skateboard, and so I would just be outside of these meetings waiting for him to be done, listening to like all the Korn and all that stuff. And then when he passed, this girl I went to grade school with that came from another fucked up family, she kind of like saw me and interjected her way in. She was so sick, dude. She's just like this punk girl. And she showed me like the Germs and Dead Kennedys and like Bowie even and stuff like that. But the Germs like made such a huge like impact on me. It's probably still my favorite band. And through that, I found like inevitably found like AFI was blowing up then. And it was like found that AFI had like covers by Minor Threat, Davey was straight edge, so that kind of just made itself work, if that makes sense. Like that's how I found out about straight edge, and once you find out about that, the whole fucking world opens up, as far as hardcore.
100%. I feel like straight edge was something that I just like kind of stumbled like into because I used to think that drinking was going to be my vibe just because watching like weird really I don't think I've ever said this publicly, so this is kind of embarrassing, but like watching like rom-coms growing up, because I love rom-coms, so just watching that kind of stuff and like drinking always looks so fun, so I was like, okay, I think that's what I'm going to be into. Because I have never been into smoking. The idea of smoking was just never like appealing to me, so I've never tried it, I've never done it. That's something that I was just always just not down for. But I remember like I thought drinking was going to be my vibe, and then I drank once in high school. I went to like this high school party, and I was so excited, and then we did it, and I had such a terrible time. I'm like, okay, I was completely wrong. This is not my vibe. I'm over this.
Dude, it sucks.
And then I stumbled upon Throwdown, and I was like, what is this? What are these X's? What is straight edge? And I guess
that was like, was that like Haymaker era?
Yeah,
Okay.
this was
Fuck yeah.
like right as that was growing. This was like early 2000s, and I was just like, I was like, yeah, this is really cool. I was like, I don't know what the straight edge thing, but I think this might be a thing. And then come to find out, there's like a couple dudes that are local that are straight edge, and me just knowing about straight edge, they thought I was cool, and then I was just kind of identified with them. Okay, these guys are cool. Throwdown's cool. I'm definitely never drinking again. I'm definitely not going to smoke. So I was like, I think I'm straight edge. And yeah, so early on, I that's how I kind of like became straight edge. I just never looked back.
Has That's awesome. Has Dave ever told you the story about us in high school when we first met?
No, he hasn't. I'm curious.
Okay. So me and Dave ended up in the same high school, and I actually transferred from there and then ended up at the high school with Tyler.
Okay.
But before, so I'm walking through the high school freshman year, you know, chip on my shoulder shit. And I see this fucking dude with this fucking bowl cut and the big chains, and he's got a Razor Fist shirt on. I see him in the hallway. And I'm like, tap him on the shoulder. I'm like, yo, dude, like, are you straight edge? Like, looking for any friend I fucking possibly can. Dave's like, no, man, I just love the band, man. I was like, well, you fucking should be. He's like, okay. And that was the start of our friendship.
Wow, that's awesome. And for people listening, you're speaking about Dave Bogger from Weapon X.
Yes, Dave Bogger of Weapon X fame.
That is crazy. Wow.
That's how Louisville is, man. I mean, we all like met each other when we were children, and just as sick as we are of each other, we love each other, and it's awesome, man. Like, we're also down to bring in, like, you know, our new friends and stuff, but like, I look at Dave and Tyler and Alex Rayma and all them, and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, we're going on 25 years of like being friends, and it's the best thing on earth.
Yeah, I think that's very special, and especially for you know, being into hardcore back then and still being around, because honestly, like, the people that I got into hardcore with, the majority of them don't care about hardcore. They don't listen to hardcore. Some of them, they're just like way more casual about it, and that's totally fine. That's their thing. But for me, I've just had this hunger and love for it, and it's just never like, you know, faded. And I still feel
you get it, man. It's like,
exactly.
It's like freaking cigarettes or something, man. It's like, I can't quit it. Like, it's just the best fucking thing, you know.
And have you ever been straight edge? Hopefully that's not just
question. I was all through high school.
Okay.
And then inevitably the fall took its course. But it is what it is, you know. To this day, it's like Floor Punch is still my favorite band. Like, Youth of Today is still my favorite band. It's the best fucking music in hardcore. Straight edge music is the best music in the whole of hardcore. And that's just facts, dude.
Yeah, I remember when I was at LDB this year, I had to kind of pull Tyler aside, and I was like, hey, is Mo doing a bit by wearing that Uniform Choice shirt, or does he really like the music? And Tyler was like, no, like, that's his shit. He loves Uniform Choice.
Like, I don't know. I think it's like, you look at hardcore and it's like, if you can take away anything, it's fucking awesome. I think of my mom, and like, before she died, and like when I was a kid, she kind of got it. Like, she grew up a punk, and like, she was like, you're with these kids, like, being crazy with like crazy hair and shit like that. But like, your whole thing is you rebel against drinking and smoking, and like, that's fucking sick. She's like, spend as much time with these kids as you want to. Like, then, I mean, back then it's like, we had a friend whose mom would let us all crash at their house in like the punk rock area of the city, and she just let me stay away for days, dude. Like, just I don't know, it's fucking awesome. And yeah,
it took a minute for my mom to understand, because I'm the youngest, right? So she was like a little more protective of me. So when I was in high school, I went from kind of being this kid who would just stay home, play video games all day, to now I'm wanting to go out. And I wouldn't even tell her I was going out of town, because she would like have a heart attack, but she would be seeing these like tattooed guys picking me up and dropping me off at the house. And it took her a while, like, for her to realize that, okay, this guy's not going out and getting in trouble. Yeah, he's staying out late, but at least he's not getting arrested or doing anything crazy. Like, he must be doing something okay. So it took her a while, but she finally kind of understood, like, okay, whatever he's doing, I'm just gonna leave him alone, because it could be a lot worse.
Absolutely. My mother was like so extremely liberal with like letting me do my thing. But the one time she like put her foot down was like, you're not going to do this, was the last posse numbers. She was like, you're not going to freaking Pennsylvania. And I'm like, all right, I get it. Like this the first time you've like put on the leash, but holy shit, the regret of that. Cause it's like there was a car full from Louisville going there. And man, that hurt. Crime and Stereo played here like the night before.
Mhm.
So we were all hanging out and dude, it was rough.
That's crazy. Because like those days, like posse number days, like the idea of traveling for hardcore wasn't even in my like orbit. I didn't even think it was possible.
You might as well be going to freaking Japan or something. Like,
Yeah, because
and meanwhile, it's like 8 hours, 10 hours away.
yeah,
I get it. I mean, I was still in school and I was like fucking up everywhere. And it's like, I get it. She was just worried about me.
I had to find clever ways to just kind of stretch the truth, but not kind of give her like the whole picture. Like the first time I went to Las Vegas for a hardcore show, I just remember I called her. I was like, yo, can I stay the night at my friend Larry's apartment? And she was like, yeah, for sure. Just be safe. Don't stay out too late. But I didn't tell her Larry lived in Las Vegas. She thought it was like a local dude.
What was the show?
My buddy Dustin, he used to book this thing called Tons of Fun Fest. So this was like back in the day. It was like Folsom, Will to Live. Pretty sure like Death Before Dishonor was on it. It was a bunch of like crazy bands.
Me and Tyler used to fucking worship Viper City, dude. Like the Folsom shit. Oh my god, that album smokes, man.
Yeah, I think I've gotten in the most amount of fights during Folsom, like than any band.
It'll
ever.
do that to you, man. It'll bring you out of here.
Yeah, but honestly, it wasn't even me like trying. It was just like people getting mad at the way that I was moshing.
Yeah, it comes with the territory.
Yeah, but great band. I have a shirt somewhere back here, and like I refuse to wear it because I just don't want it to degrade because it's already old, so I don't want it to get any worse. But so I want to talk about the bands that you play in, but can we start with Damaged Goods? Because today is an interesting anniversary, and I was wondering, like, did Mo pick today on purpose because it was an anniversary, or is this a coincidence?
Oh no, it's just this is the day we had the release show 10 years ago. Yeah, Damaged Goods and Knocked Loose, and it was just a record release show day.
Interesting. And is it a trip to think like, holy shit, it's been 10 years since that show?
It's pretty nuts, man. I mean, you look at like what Knocked announced this week, and it's like, I fucking, those are my baby brothers, man. Like, we live different lives, and like, we're going to pursue different things in life. But it's like, at the end of the day, like, I'd lay it down for those guys, man. I love them. Like, I want nothing more than them to get the most out of this life,
And it's pretty insane. And the thing you were referring to is they announced that tour with Metallica.
Yeah, the Metallica tour.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. I'm like, this is insane. This is fucking huge. Like a hardcore
it's insane,
band.
And it's like something like I won't be 100 feet away from that thing. Like, miss me with all that. Like, I'm good. But it's like to know what it means, like to fucking those dudes when they were just kids talking to me about how much they love Metallica, to seeing that, it's awesome, man, and how much they've done for the city behind the scenes, not necessarily on the forefront, but behind the scenes, they do so much, man.
And I feel like they're just like a prime example, right? That there's like really no real ceiling to hardcore, and if you work hard enough, you put in the work, you can get to do crazy things and achieve your dreams.
Man, because it's like, we don't want hardcore to be blown and like have like all these people here for the wrong reasons, but then we have this band who's the biggest fucking band on the planet, and it's like that's our family, and we're gonna fucking back everything that they call. So it's a bit of a catch-22 in a sense, but it's been going good, and I got them, man.
Yeah, but even when hardcore was like more underground, there's always going to be tourists and people there for the wrong reasons.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
I always try not to get too caught up in that, because what I've found is like, time will always, work against them. They'll eventually get weeded out, or they'll stop caring, and they just will stop showing up.
And then you just like, it's something no one ever fucking remembers anyway. It's like the new thing will happen 10 years down the road. It's like, what was that?
Yeah, that's why whenever I show up to shows and I see people who I know have been around for a long time, like there's just so much respect there, right? Because they're actually about it. They're not these fake motherfuckers that just show up because it's like the cool thing to do, or they're just trying to do weird social climbing, or just for whatever weird reason. I just like seeing the people that have been around.
I don't mean to come off like an elitist of any kind. Like, kids should be coming here and like, even if it's the cringiest shit they're doing, like the banana costume thing, everybody's losing their mind about the banana costumes. It's like, relax, guys. You all are 35 years old having a stroke over a 14-year-old wearing a fucking costume at a show. I grew up going to ska shows, and it's like, that's all it was. It looks like fucking Spirit Halloween in there, dude. It's like, they'll find guns up and fucking camo shorts later on, man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%. I always try to just be as encouraging as I can be to the youth. Mm-hmm. Maybe nudge them in the right direction, and just hope that they figure it out.
Yeah. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah, but for as long as we've been around, like the kids who are actually going to be down, they'll figure it out somewhere or another.
They will. And Louisville's like really cool right now, man. It's like we're having like this the old guard kind of letting go of the reins, and it's like there's these crops of kids like from different high schools, because Louisville's so small. It's like very much like what high school you're at.
Oh, really?
It's like, dude, it's so funny. But and that's how it's always been. But there's a bunch of new bands coming up, like 13-year-old kids like playing Project X covers and shit. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I feel like my like favorite band that had popped up recently from your area is Gargoyle, and and just
Gargoyle rules, dude.
Yeah, and seeing them at the showcase and just seeing the reaction that they got to being able to see them, at LDB, and just seeing like the love continues to grow for them. I just think it's like awesome, and I'm looking forward to everything that they do in the future.
Going to see them tomorrow with Jim's new band, Who Laughs Last, and then Totaled and Worldview and Collective Action at the pizza shop.
Spinelli's? That pizza shop?
Yeah, Spinelli's.
Okay. I went to the one in downtown.
Mm-hmm. What show?
The CMI after show.
Oh, the one downtown Louisville. Yeah. So there were two locations. The old one that closed was like.
Oh, okay, yeah, not that one. Yeah.
That CMI show was the shit, dude.
I remember.
That was
I just remember thinking, I do not want to go to an after show. I'm tired, but we went, and I'm glad we went, because seeing CMI there was awesome, and just even being in that venue, I'm like, this is insane that this is in the back of a pizza shop. This is really cool, and it was open like so late.
Oh, dude, they're open till 5 a.m. every night. It's like the only late night food spot in the city. It's insane that nobody else will do that. It's like, it seems like such an opportunity to have late night food here, but yeah, that spot is awesome. The dude that owns that is an old Philly hardcore dude, and like he's like 50 and still straight edge, and like loves Ink and Dagger and shit. And, like, he's awesome, man. He's since day one, since Spinelli's open, however long ago now, like, he's been wanting to have hardcore and punk some way associated with his shops. So it's like we owe them all the praise. It's been our long-standing like place to go.
Yeah, I was having a fun time in the lobby, like looking up at like their wall of shirts and just trying to get like the references.
The like Rancid shirt and shit,
yeah,
and Suicidal and all that. It's cool. He's awesome, man. He's got lore. If you we'll see him every now and again, and it's like you gotta kind of dig it out of him, but he's got good lore.
That's so cool to have such a like an old head there. Just
it's fucking awesome.
Okay, going back to Damage Goods, I was just curious about the artwork for the demo. Who designed that? Because that shit is crazy.
Isn't it insane? That was our original drummer, Josh Raff. He was a local drummer that he's a madman, dude. There's some college in art college in Pittsburgh, I guess, that's Carnegie Mellon. Is that right? I don't know anything about colleges.
Me either.
But that's where he went to do art.
Okay.
And at that time, it's like he was like, I have this sick fucking thing I want to do. And we were just like, go for it, man. And it's like these space meteorites with like shit coming out of their mouths and stuff, man. It's, I don't know. It's a crazy piece. I don't know if it really fit the music.
Well, I just think it's a really like cool piece of art.
You like it?
Yeah, because I think
a lot of people don't. Like, I think it's cool too, man. But it's what it is.
Okay. And we referenced the split earlier. That was cool. If you can remember, you know, way back then, how did this split come together with Knock Loose?
I'm sorry, my dogs are barking right now.
It's all good.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just curious. Way back then, how did this split come together with Knock Loose?
Brian actually approached me at some show. I think it was one of those tours that happened all the time back then. It's like Suburban Scum, Expire, Harm's Way.
Oh, Life and Death
like
tour.
Yeah, actually, that sounds exactly right.
Okay.
Brian approached me, and you know they had like their whole scene, like of fans who like that, and then we were more the like traditionalist hardcore dudes, but they all loved the shit we were doing. We liked them as kids, like, so he approached me and talked about it. It was kind of a joke that went too far in the best way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just ended up doing it. They were the new kids coming up. I mean, fuck, look how that turned out. But and we were just like, yeah, we want to put the new kids up, you know, like so many people care about Damaged Goods, dude. But it's cool. It worked out, and it's a very special release for me to do.
And I am curious, on the Bandcamp, you guys are charging, you know, a pretty penny to buy the album digitally.
Are we?
Yeah.
How much is it?
$1,000.
That's awesome.
Why is it that high?
Well, they had to compete with Floor Punch on Gold for some reason.
That's wild.
That is funny as fuck. Dustin from Gates to Hell, who played bass for Damaged Goods, he runs the Bandcamp, so we'll get him on and figure that out.
Okay. And shout out Gates to Hell. What a band.
Yeah. Shout out Gates.
Okay. So Damaged Goods is awesome. And then you sang for another band, Wicked Garden.
Wicked Garden, yeah.
Did you guys ever officially hang it up, or is it still a thing?
It's not a thing. I mean, no, it's not a thing. It's definitely not.
Because you popped up a couple years ago on the LDB comp, so I was just like,
yeah, that was our last song. We did that. That was really special to do. That was like our official, like, closing the book on that. That band was like a very like insane part of my life, and it's like, as much as I love those songs and shit, it's like I cannot fucking just run that back the same way, dude. Like, I was out of my mind during that time, and most of it I'd like to forget, you know, if that makes sense.
That's really interesting because you know what's funny is I'm friends with Tyler back then, and obviously I knew about Wicked Garden, but I didn't know that, like, obviously, like, you know, you were in the band. So I always just like looked at Wicked Garden as like a band from Louisville, but I didn't really know anything more than that, like, outside of the music. So yeah, so it's pretty interesting to hear you say that.
It was a fun. That 7-inch fucking rules. The LP or whatever after it is like, I was so fucking far on dope and shit that like it's just the worst fucking thing of all time, and it's awful. Like, I can't listen to it. I was out of my fucking mind, dude. But that 7-inch I love, and it's funny because like all those songs are written about like who is now my wife, Melissa, and it's like our insane time that we spend as young people, and it's like it's cool to see her, and like she loves those songs, but it was just something better, you know. Leave that behind. We got to move on.
Okay, you shouted her out at the LDB 2019 set.
Always got it, dude. She's the fucking queen, dude. We met and she didn't even know about hardcore. I was like, do you like hardcore? And she's like, I was like, do you like punk? She's like, the Misfits. I was like, that's it, baby.
Say less.
Enough said, dude. But now she's like, I don't know, she's like such a maternal figure to so many of my friends who, you know, we let stay at our houses, and she's awesome, man. Like, she gets it without even knowing she's getting it. Like she just has that family sense about it. She's like, you've been good to my dude, so I'm gonna, hook you up and treat you like family, dude.
That's awesome. It's nice to have a partner like that who's understanding and gets it like without even having to like explain or break it down for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and just the last thing on Wicked Garden, you mentioned that the last song, which was actually titled Last Song, that was like the closing of the book for Wicked Garden. Were there more songs, or was that just did you guys just write that for the comp?
No, that was it. I couldn't remember if we even had that song pre-planned or if we had come up with it, but I do remember being at Isaac's because Isaac from Knocked recorded all the bands for that comp.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, it was like a week-long thing of everybody coming through his house, his parents' house. And I remember being there and doing it and all our friends being there. And it was a very special moment for that day. Yeah, it was a good day.
And the other members of the band, do you still keep in contact?
Yeah, so Dustin from Gates and Damaged Goods played bass. And then Steve, who was in Gates to Hell and Ill Advised and Another Mistake, he played guitar. And then Chesley lives in Cincinnati. He played guitar too. He's just chilling. And then drummers were always interchangeable. We had Isaac playing drums, Trey playing drums, Brian Prosser playing drums. Whoever like wanted to be a homie and hop on,
It's crazy to think about how many drummers are from out there.
Louisville is the most incestual fucking place ever, maybe next to early 2000s Boston. It's like straight up before all these new kids started showing up, it was 10 of us doing 15 different bands just to have bands to go see,
Yeah, I was tripping out when leading up to Jared coming on the podcast. I was looking at like the Nine Eyes Facebook, which I'm never on Facebook, but I was just looking at their Facebook and seeing like a picture, like an old picture of them when like Isaac was on drums. Yeah. I was just tripping out how young everybody was back then. Like obviously I could tell who everybody was, but it was just such a trip to see them.
Peter was like, still so kind of old back then.
He looked the same. He looked the same, a little bit younger. Shut up, Peter.
Dude. Yeah. He's looked the same since I was a kid. It's awesome. That's the edge years, man. But Nine Eyes, you like Nine Eyes?
Yes, and I feel like
they're fucking awesome, aren't they?
I like Tyler told me that I just got lucky with being able to see them 2 times in a row. Like on my last 2 trips to Louisville, and every time that I've seen them, I'm like, why don't they do this full time? Yeah, like the reactions are always crazy.
I'm not like a metalcore dude like that at all, and it's like not just because they're the homies or any bullshit like that, but they're just like their shows back then were like fucking awesome, man. Like just chaos, and it was so fun. And I wish they'd play more.
Yeah. Well, I think Jared mentioned some new songs or something coming, so hopefully they stick to that and we can get some more Nine Eye shows, maybe one before the year's over.
That'd be fucking insane.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're playing 2 Witnesses. We're playing with GB on Sunday from now. And I think that's going to be kind of our last show for the summer. We've kind of been going pretty hard with the local gigs and just gonna kind of hang it up. Maybe do like a back to school jam or something here.
Yeah, and Killing Time, what a great band.
I know. It's awesome. I can't wait, man. It's like 16, 17-year-old like us, our friend group could have never thought about this because shit like hardcore like that just didn't happen here in the early 2000s. It was like such a different realm, and why it pushed us to start our like early bands, Damaged Goods and Another Mistake and all that, because like the hardcore that was happening here, don't get me wrong, I love those bands, but it was very much like Discord centered mixed with like we want to be grunge or something like that, like Maximum Louisville era, like all of that. But so now we have shit like Gorilla Biscuits coming here, and it's still mind blowing to me. Like
playing Portal.
At Portal.
That's such a cool venue. It's an interesting place.
Isn't it? It's a special place. The dude that runs that is like an old punk rocker from here too.
When I was at the pre-show this year, I had just got done setting up my camera. I get on stage and one of the dudes working there, and I forget his name, so I apologize, but he runs up to me. He's like, "Hey, can you take some pictures of me?" I'm like, me? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I have like this spot in a magazine that's coming out and they need pictures of me by today. So so he was like, you have a nice camera. Can you just take some pictures of me? And I'm like, I can, but I'm not going to make any promises that they're not going to look good. So he's like, all right. He's like, let's just go outside and take some pictures. And I had like 2 cameras. So I was like, let me use my newer camera. So I took these photos and he said they were awesome. And he wanted to pay me, but I was like, can you just pay me in Red Bull? He's like, yeah, for sure. He's like, let's go to the bar. And he just gave me Red Bull. So I was like, all right, this is awesome. I was like, I took like 4 pictures and he gave me some nice Red Bulls.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'll have to find out what magazine that was.
It was just so random, but I was like, I'm just gonna go with it. The guy seems nice, and it was
weird, man.
Yeah,
it's like most people are like, you can like throw a fucking stone, and some business owner or anywhere or a neighbor is like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon away from hardcore. It's like everyone has it all comes back to here. Like it's really fascinating. I've become like, since I was a kid, like infatuated with like the history of it here. And it's bizarre. But the dude that probably asked you that was probably just a old hardcore dude. Yeah,
an interesting venue, but it's so cool too, because it's like, obviously there's like where the show happens, but then there's like you can go through a door and there's like a bookshop and a card shop, and there's like a food truck outside. There's always a food truck there.
It's really easy to like, poke fun at. It's like, Jesus Christ, like we got the clothing shop and the freaking, the vegan buffet and what isn't there back there. But it's like, it is honestly cool as fuck.
Yeah, just to have a stable spot like that and a cool venue too, because like I think Absolutely. The room's a great size. It's not too big, not too small.
It's perfect. Never a barricade. Like huge patio outside, which is great for chilling.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, shout out Portal. But I'm always curious about Louisville too, because I've only been there like a handful of times. So when I'm there, I'm just like kind of like a passenger, like Tyler or Ashton's always driving us around. And I feel like I'm still lost wherever we go. But this most recent trip, I was able to stay an extra couple of days. And on my last day, I hung out with Dave, and he took me to spots that I'd never been to before. And I was like, I don't even know where the hell we're at, but this is nice to be able to just get to see just Louisville and not have to go to any shows. It was just cool to kind of see where everybody's from.
Yeah, I feel a ton of people just get here and it's like, I get it, it's out of their control, but it's like you're here for 4 hours for a show and you base your entire opinion on a city over how that does, and it's like, that's such ass, dude. That's such a terrible way to form an opinion about a place when it's like it is this like fucking beautiful, awesome, friendly place. Like, I don't know, where all did he take you?
The only place I can remember off the top of my head is we went to the Highlands. We went to some brunch spot.
That's where I live.
Okay. Oh, nice area.
So that's like kind of like not so much anymore, but like growing up, it was kind of like the punk rock art district area.
Yeah, I remember him mentioning that to me. And then we went to 2 malls that were like literally right next to each other.
The only 2 malls we have, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Which that is sad. He took you to a mall in 2025.
I asked. I'm always curious. And
go see some mall culture.
Yeah, just to go see some stuff. And he tried to take me to some places, but a lot of things were closed just by chance. And then
it Monday.
It was Monday. Yeah, it was a Monday.
Yeah. Nothing's fucking open. It sucks.
Yeah, and then like the like top thing that I wanted to do was go to a game exchange, because I watched this YouTuber from Lexington and he always goes to game exchange, and I was like, I want to go to one of those just so I can say that I've been to that. I watched so many videos where this guy goes to them, and I've never been in one, so Dave took me to one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pretty interesting.
But, do you have fun though?
100%.
On your day out with Dave.
Yeah,
you talk your fucking ear off.
Yes, but I love Dave Bogger. He's great,
dude. He's the best.
Yeah, so fun. But the one thing that I really did appreciate, that he was just super down to hang out, because Tyler had to go back to work, and he was kind of like, I felt like he was kind of nervous because he was like, hey, like I have to go back to work. I don't know what you're going to do all day till you have to go to the airport.
He's a good host, man. He was worried.
Yeah.
But fortunately, you're in Louisville and somebody's going to take care of you, buddy.
Yeah. I was like, I think there's somebody here that likes me that'll be down to hang out.
Next time you're here, we'll go out. You'll leave all them behind. I'll show you where to go.
I'm down. I'm definitely down. I'm not sure when I'll be back, but hopefully it's sooner than later.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome.
For someone like you who's been around, you know, when like the scene was like a flyover state, nobody really cared, to what it is now, can you talk about what it's like to kind of see things grow over the years?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to take in. It's, you know, because while that scene's growing, you're going through your own interpersonal changes outside of hardcore too. And so it's like say like when Knock was first getting started as a timeline, it's like I was just, you know, kind of out of my mind, like with drugs and booze at that time, like really, really a heavy case there, basket case. And then, you know, I met Melissa and kind of conquered that. And it's like the veil was stripped off, and it's like, holy fuck, like whether I was there or not, like my friends like Tyler and Dave and everyone like kind of like steered these kids, and that's not taken away from them. Knox has done everything on their own accord, but it's like you lift the veil up and it's like you see with unfazed eyes that like, wow, this is kind of like a mecca. Like kids started moving here because of like the scene, which is like unheard of, man. It's like, I don't know. I love Louisville, but I'm also from here, and it's like I hate it as much as I love it, you know. But when I heard people started moving here because of like the music scene, that really fucked me up. And then kind of every show like for years was great, and it's like what the hell is happening here? And a lot of those early years though, it was just like I was unfortunately just like clouded by terrible things, you know, just going through some shit. But we're here now. Yeah, it's awesome.
And how hard was it to get past that difficult time in your life?
No, this is impossible, man. Damn near killed me. But, you know, I look at people, and I hate, you know, I don't mean to keep bringing up my friends from here, but they are like the rocks that hold me down, you know. Like Tyler has been as much a shield to me as he's been a bucket of ice water getting thrown in, you know. Like that dude, me and him have wanted to kill each other as much as we wanted to just never leave each other's side, and I owe a lot to him, and I know he knows that. But all those friends from back then, it's just like, it's cool watching something when no one else gave a shit except you and your 8 friends become what Louisville hardcore is now. That's something special to see. It's like we don't have a legacy of hardcore here. You know, our forefathers here aren't the ones still repping it. It's like when we came in, all our old heads that we never even had were no more. So it was like, we're starting from ground fucking zero. We can make this scene what we want to be, how it wants to be. And I think it worked out. I think we did good.
100%. You got me, a random dude from California, traveling out now. This is, you know,
we got the coast. We got the coast backing us, man. I never thought I'd see that.
Yeah, you know, I'm 2 years in, and I had this funny moment. I told Jared about it. It was kind of like this full circle moment where I'd gotten back from LDB and went to a local show, and I ran into this younger kid. And one of the things he asked me, he was like, hey, why did you go to LDB and not RBS? Like, what's out there? And I'm just like, and it just hit me at that moment. I'm like, dude, this was me asking Natalie that like so many years ago. And, you know, obviously I had planned to go to LDB before RBS was announced, but I was telling him, I'm like, dude, there's such an awesome scene out there. That fest is really cool. You should go sometime.
I appreciate that, man.
It was crazy.
Dude, did you talk to any of your friends back home about RBS?
Yeah, 100%.
How was I'm curious. I didn't really see any videos or anything. I'm really curious about the Allegiance set because I fucking love that band, dude.
Yes, and you know, I love the fact that they asked Allegiance to play, showing love to, you know, older bands. I'm sure you know, a lot of kids these days probably didn't even know who Allegiance is or was. but to be able to book them in 2025, I think that's insane. But
They
I heard
weren't one of the biggest names at the time, but that record fucking rules, dude.
yeah, but I had heard nothing but good things about RBS. So
yeah, it looked awesome from like Pain of Truth and shit played it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was tripping out that Soul Search was the band that played LDB and RBS. I was like, I'm like, these guys are troopers.
That's what's up.
Yeah, because Fest.
I'll have to get out there some. I've never been to the West Coast.
Oh, you never?
No, dude, it's fucked up. I've only like been to New York like twice. Like we would go to This Is Hardcore and UB a bunch when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I'm not a well-traveled man. I've just always been like working and never gave myself time off to go do that when I was younger. Like West Coast might have been a million miles away, like just an impossibility. But now it seems more doable.
Yeah, there's a large portion of like my hardcore journey where the idea of traveling just didn't come to mind, because I would spend a lot of time just not being social. I was just like paid attention to like the bigger picture. Obviously, I listened to bands from everywhere, but I was always just like okay with waiting for them to come to California, because I knew most bands
they would,
they would. But it wasn't until I started being a little more social and making friends, and that drove me to want to travel. So I'm like, okay, I can go to this show, and I have friends. I have a support system there, so it won't be so weird or scary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do think that is like with Louisville, especially something like it seems nice because we get like the main tours now of as far as hardcore bands. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel bad for like the kids that, when we were growing up would travel every weekend, to Nashville or Evansville or Indianapolis to see like Down to Nothing or Blacklisted like every fucking weekend. Because those were like some of the best fucking times, man. It's like putting in like a night trip with your fellas, going to some other city to go see, like, I don't know, Lion of Judah in a basement or something. Like that's the best. Like that's where the memories and like shit like that comes from, man.
Yeah, when I was younger, I grew up in the Palm Springs area, which is about like 2 hours away from where I live now. So that was our journey. Like all of the kids in the desert that would want to go to shows, we would have to drive 2 hours to get to the cool shows, and then we'd have to do the 2 hours back, and that was such a rough drive. And I remember when I finally decided to move to Orange County, I was like, this is gonna be very nice because there's gonna be a good show, and I could get home in under 30 minutes.
Has there ever been a hardcore scene in Palm Springs?
Yeah, there's one.
Really?
There's one going on right now. Shout out to Hot Stuff Booking. They're doing cool stuff out there. There's like a band out there called Face Facts. They're doing cool stuff. My friend's playing a band called Bronca. They've been around for a bit. But growing up, we were struggling. There was like some local bands, but there was this guy who I'm friends with still to this day. His name was Steve Kipple. And he was like the savior. He booked like I tell everybody the best show that ever happened in the desert was in like I'm pretty sure it was 2003. It was Blacklisted, Down to Nothing, and Cast Aside.
Oh my god, dude!
Yeah, such an amazing
That's
tour.
a hell of a tour.
Yeah, but Steve Kibble was so down. Like he would book touring bands, and if the shows didn't have enough people attend, he would pay bands out of pocket just so they would be down to come back. So he was doing a lot behind the scenes just to make sure
building it for the future.
Yeah, exactly. And he's still around. So shout out Steve Kibble.
That's a damn good tour though. Cast Aside was supposed to play here one time with 100 Demons, and it got canceled. Fucking sucked.
Yeah, honestly, it was the only time that I saw Cast Aside.
Yeah, underrated.
Yeah, still a great band, and obviously Blacklisted is awesome, and love Down to Nothing, but they don't really do anything anymore.
Have you gotten the Avail bug yet?
What do you mean Avail?
Avail.
Oh, Avail. No, never really hit me.
Dude, it's the best. It's the coolest shit. Richmond hardcore as a whole is like one of, if you look at like in a mental like list of bands, Count Me Out, DTN, Dom. It's like some of my a long fucking list of my favorite bands, but Avail is top notch, man. Like that band definitely shaped a lot of my youth and like just how they carry it. It felt like kind of almost like an embrace. Like if Tim Barry, you know, he's not a Ian MacKaye, but he was kind of close to it of the early 2000s.
Yeah, shout out Richmond. There's a band who popped up a couple years ago. I don't think they're active anymore because I asked everybody, nobody knows what they're up to. But there's a band called Richmond Vampire, and they're just so sick.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, they're like
it's on YouTube.
I think they're on streaming services unless they took it down.
Fuck yeah.
They just had like a demo. They're more like punk.
Yeah, that's my shit.
Yeah, so shout out Richmond. I've never been to Richmond.
You gotta go. It's if you like Louisville, you will love Richmond. It's very much like, as far as a vibe, like kind of like a, you know, similar cities, like college towns, but like with night, like cool looking neighborhoods and like good spots you can go to, great record stores and cool venues.
Yeah, I always trip out when I'm in Louisville because like getting to Tyler's house, when we go like a certain way, we're like driving past like just like some like retail stores and we're just like in this neighborhood. This is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, we I still haven't even been over to their house, dude. But I picked them up when we were going to see CMI in Nashville or something. But yeah, man, that is that's a ways away from me.
Really? Yes. See, I just get in the car and I just look out the window.
Yeah.
I'm always lost. I'm like, where? I don't really know. Like outside of his neighborhood, I'm like, I don't know where we're at.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Two Witnesses earlier, one of my favorite bands. I'm curious about like the origin. Where does this start?
Yeah, it was a COVID ban. I believe the demo came out 2020 or 2021, but it's all Jim's baby, Jim Barron. Mm-hmm. It's all his baby. He wanted to do, you know, a Connecticut worship band, which we all love down here. But he hit me up, and I was done with the Wicked Garden. I didn't really want to know if I was in the space to sing for a band or anything like that again. But he was like, I want a front man whose words are like real and talking about something and telling a story, and not just, you know, here's a bunch of words that are just hard words and tell nothing, you know. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, I'll give it a go. And it was great. I loved the music. Like, it was very much in the vein of Connecticut hardcore done right. And that's where it started. Our first show was one of the first shows back in Louisville at this venue Tyler had down in the neighborhood I grew up, which was even cooler to have that first show. And I believe it was like Inclination, maybe End It played. That might be two different shows, but it was awesome. It went over well. We opened with Dead at Birth, which was, you know, but that was the whole origin of it.
I remember first hearing it and I was just like, I don't know what this is, but I'll check it out. And immediately I was like, this is my shit. This is so good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. It's definitely like my favorite band I've ever done. All that shit, like Blood for Blood, 100 Demons, like all Ramallah, like all that stuff's been my favorite music since I was like finding out about hardcore too. And to finally do a band that sounded like in the vein of that was I'm very thankful for Jim to ask me to do that.
Yeah, it's cool that he was thinking of you when he was wanting to recruit people to be in the band.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, I don't know. I might not bring a lot to like the stage, but my words tell a story that the people that it relates to, you know, that's what counts. And because it's not a lot of people looking out for the people that those songs are about in hardcore right now. And it's good. It's people reach out and like tell us about, you know, what that meant to them in that time and felt validated, you know, whether they're struggling with addiction or like whatever, you know. But it's good, man. I'm very thankful for Jim to ask me to do that.
And I think your voice is really unique, the way you perform it, because obviously, like, when you go back and listen to Damaged Goods, you can still hear it, but I just feel like it's obviously like way more refined now. But like when I listen, because obviously we listen to like a lot of hardcore, I've heard, you know, people, you know, scream, yell, whatever, in tons of different ways, but I just feel like your voice is like very unique, and I've never heard anybody else sound like that. So whenever I you know, hear Two Witnesses, I know exactly what it is, like right away.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, for better or for worse, like I don't think my voice sounds cool at all. Like I wish I could just sound like another like Josta impersonator, like just the like basic, but I just can't. I suck at it. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. But Jim's like, dude, that's what sets it apart. Like imagine if it was just another like Josta sounding guy. It would just blend in with anything else going on right now. So that meant a lot, him saying that, you know. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's one of my favorite things about the band. So your unique style.
It's lacking.
And if you can remember way back then when the demo dropped, because you know the last band you were in was Wicked Garden. Like, were you excited to be back, like as a front man?
I was nervous. Wicked Garden was like a total, like by the time that ended, I was like at a total ground zero, like in life, and trying to climb myself up and pick up the pieces of it, and really just did not want to focus on music. And but my wife was encouraging about it and was like, you are good at this, you have a story to tell, like you should do this. And yeah, I mean, it was kind of like this like era of like, I think a bunch of other demo bands that fell apart happened too. And so I was feeling the spirit a bit of like, all right, let's get back. I want to play a show. But I was definitely nervous at first and didn't know if I could like trust myself in like handling it without, you know, being a disaster. But thankfully conquered that, proved myself wrong. So.
Yeah, because you guys are going strong. I'm happy that you know, since the demo, like we've been blessed every year with new music from you guys, which is nice because some bands will come out and they'll be on a different schedule, which is totally fine. But for you guys, it seems like you guys have just been constantly busy, like, you know, with the music, which I love. So it's cool to have been here, you know, since 2021. Here we are in 2025, and we've gotten new music every year.
I hope we got more gas left in the tank. I know Peter and Jim and Chandler and Jared all have a million projects right now, so I'm grateful for them to want to keep pushing it. I know we don't tour much either, which is a shitty thing, but it is what it is with our lives. Like Jim and Peter and Chandler all have kids, and me and Jared work at UPS full time, and it's like, I mean, besides the Haywire shit, who even tours anymore, really? You know? But we try to get out when we can, and hopefully in the future we can more.
Before it's all said and done, Two Witnesses on the West Coast.
How do you think it would go?
I think it'd be awesome. You have any doubt in that?
I would love to.
Yeah, I feel like
it's very fun.
Yeah, you guys just do a string of dates, but whatever you do, you come to the West Coast, please just request Orange County. A lot of people will come these days.
Yeah,
I know Orange County. We're in between LA and San Diego, so sometimes people have to pick and choose. But please, if Two Witnesses comes to California, please play Orange County.
That'd be sick. Did you go to that Indecision Fest in Orange County?
No, I did not.
No, that was like last year, or like the Indecision Records Fest.
It was like 2 years ago.
2 years ago, over My Dead Body and like the Beyond Repair shit. The lineup was fucking awesome. Over My Dead Body is another California band that like we just grew up loving, that no one, you know, in the Midwest at least, like really ever recognized.
Yeah, but, you know, I trip out because like I'll go to these local shows, and like Dave Mandel, the guy behind Indecision, he's a friend. And he's just there. He's always there, which I'm like, dude, this guy is legit, because he's put out so many bands that I love.
You gotta love that.
And after so many years, he's still down for the core.
Yeah, dude, it's like in Louisville, it's like we'll go to a restaurant or something and see some guy from like Endpoint or whatever have you. And I like have zero shame about it. I do not give a fuck. I will like go and pick your brain and be like, so tell me about like the floor punch drama, or tell me about like, you know, playing with AF at like a dive bar downtown in the 80s. You know, like I want to suck in as much about Louisville history with hardcore as I possibly can. And like given like now it's different, I'm 35 years old. Most of these people are friends to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But I love seeing those guys out. I know like old heads can have their own like baggage that come with like modern hardcore and like, you know, putting their nose in the air to it. But thankfully, a lot of people in Louisville are very chill with it and just happy somebody cares about back then.
Yeah, that reminds me. You mentioned Posse Numbers earlier. My first trip to Wilkes-Barre, I had like a list of things that I wanted to do. And I had on the list that I wanted to go meet the guy behind Posse Numbers, this guy named Bob Mack. And they were just like, he owns a smoke shop downtown. Like, yeah, they're like, well, like, are you sure you want to go meet him? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't fucking care. I was like, I get it. It might be like, you know, not a thing for you guys, but you got to understand, like, I've never been here. To me, Posse Numbers was like legendary. It shaped so many hardcore like fests today. So they're like, all right, like, let's go. So we went. And he was like surprised that some random dude from California wanted to meet him, but he was so nice, and we ended up like hanging out with him like even after the shop closed.
To them, like Posse Numbers is like, I don't know. I look at like those lineups, and it's everything I fucking love. You know, like that probably meant a lot to the dude. So
yeah,
that's cool. You did that.
Yeah,
I'd be like, take me to the dome with the AstroTurf.
We went to the sports. Yeah, it's still it was still up. So we went. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, this is where Posse Numbers happen. I'm like, why does somebody should book something there now?
You're like Underdog played right here, Mental played right here.
Yeah. So I love Wilkes-Barre. So whenever, because I was like, this is my first time. Let me just get this stuff out of the way, because I know you guys. This is normal for you guys, but this isn't normal for me. So let's just do it, and then we can move on.
If you're ever in Chicago, you got to track down this dude Matt Kluger.
Okay.
I believe he was originally from Kingston, but he's just one of those dudes.
Okay.
This guy is the fucking best, man. Like, you have to track him down. He has the best lore you'll ever want to hear. He's the best fucking guy. Matt
Kluger.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let me do my research. I'll reach out.
He's the best, dude. He wasn't in any bands or anything ever. He's just was a local, but he's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, that's the best. But going back to Two Witnesses, obviously, the demo came out, and then Means to an End came out, which is an awesome record. I have the shirt with like the album art on it, which is awesome. But I'm curious about you guys made it past the demo. You guys put out this EP. Can you remember what that time the band was like?
Yeah, that was a very exciting time, but pretty heavy. It was like in the neighborhood, like me and Melissa used to live in before the Highlands where we're at now. It was the neighborhood I grew up in. Very like tough, kind of sad place. My neighbor during COVID, we were in like a family house. Mm-hmm. So the neighbors had grown up with my grandmother and my mother. So they were good buddies. The wife had committed suicide after she had gotten scammed and robbed of all her fucking money.
Jeez.
And her husband, who was a good buddy of ours, would like dog sit for us all the time and cookouts and shit. He came over and was like, "Hey, Rhonda just shot herself. Can you check this out?" And I'm like, "Okay." And that, that was a lot of heavy shit. I don't mean to like get deep like that, but it was such a fucked situation, man. And I hope he's all right wherever he is now. But that's what that record's about, is just living in that neighborhood that I grew up in, seeing like this person who's just been fucked just because of their area code, like no one giving them any attention. You get insurance pulled off you can't get your fucking meds, like whatever she had going on in her brain to make her do that, to the point where like her husband of like 50 years is coming over to get me to check out if she's alive or not. It was a lot. And but I'm glad I wrote about it. Yeah, I missed them a whole lot, man. I missed those two. But it was heavy shit.
What's going through your mind when he's asking you to go check? Do you even know what you're walking into?
Oh, I'm like, I don't want to fucking see this. He's like, please just like check it out. And I you go and look, and it's like, I won't get too in depth about it, but it's like, it's nothing you want to fucking see of a person it's like, I was pretty fucked up for a long time about it. I know, like, we all want to be polarizing with, like, and I don't mean to sound like, wimpy or anything, but it's like, you see like these metal shirts with like heads getting blown off by pistols and like shotguns, and it's like, how many of these people have actually seen someone they care about that have done that? And I'm not saying don't do that. Fuck me, like, do it. But I'm just like, God, it was like, it left me pretty fucked up for a bit, and took a bit to get over. And while I'm doing that, I was kind of battling, overcoming like shit with drugs and drinking. So it was a heavy time, for sure.
That's dark, man. That's crazy.
I'm sorry, buddy.
No. It's okay, but I'm just thinking about it, because for me, in my mind, I would be like, is he setting me up to be the murderer? I would be like,
that's fucked.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm not going in there. I'm not touching anything.
No. He just couldn't face it himself, I don't think.
Yeah.
And like, I don't mean to drag his business out on here either, but I mean,
yeah,
he's like a 60-year-old Southland dude, like, but he's a great man, and she was great too, and they really took care of me and my wife when we were younger and looking over us. But it was a heavy fucking thing to deal with, especially with like COVID and everything else happening. Like, Jesus, man.
Yeah, you got to think, man. They must have been going through, or she must have been going through a lot to get to that point, because
yeah. Well, again, it was like she got scammed out of all her money just by like any scam we would see and be like, that's a scam. As simple as that. But she's just was older,
yeah,
and couldn't get her medication. And no, I don't want to speak too much for her. Rest in peace, But,
yeah, my mom got scammed recently.
Really?
Not to that degree. She bought some vitamins online, and I warned her. I'm like, yo, you spend too much time on Facebook, because she used to text me. Yeah, she used to text me these ads like, hey, I want to buy this. Is this real? I'm like, no, that's a fake ad. Don't put any of your information in there. Like, they're gonna steal your information. Like, just don't do it. I was like, anytime you're gonna buy something, just call me and I'll let you know if it's chill or not. And the one time
that's like my wife to me, dude.
Okay, the one time she didn't call me, she ordered a bottle of vitamins, but obviously they had all of her card information. It wasn't like a legit site. So she ordered one, but they ended up charging her for like 13. And their explanation was like, oh, like, we charged you for 13 because if you were to buy 13, it'd be cheaper than buying one at a time. So we're just helping you out. And I told my mom, I'm like, you should have called me.
Did you all get resolved?
Yeah, she got her money back. It wasn't like that. It wasn't that much money. It was like $400. But I was just
a lot
like,
of money.
Yeah. So I told her, I was like, just call me next time. Save you the headache. Yeah. Save you from having to report the fraud.
The moms, dude.
Yeah.
We got to.
Yeah. So.
Shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to get so dark on that.
No. It's your story, and I asked about the record.
It is what it is. Yeah. It's one of those things. I wish it was all just like unity and positivity, but it's unfortunately not.
Yeah, it's part of your journey. But moving on, 2023, from the old to the new. Streets of Hate.
Yep.
Can you talk about where that relationship starts? Because I'm such a fan of what Nicole and Alex do. I love the label. I've been a big supporter. You can't see it, but this hat up here is an old Navy Streets of Hate a hat that I just wore into the ground. I
Oh,
sweated in it. I wore it everywhere. I have another hat. I have the black and red one somewhere. But love the label. So when I saw like two friends that I didn't even know like knew each other, like two different friend groups working together, I'm like, oh, this is great. This is awesome that Streets of Hate was down to work with this awesome band that I think deserves more recognition. So can you talk about that relationship?
yeah, that was entirely Jim's doing. We had been fans of Streets of Hate and the bands they were putting out. Like it gave me a similar. I didn't know AC or Nicole like before they put out our shit, but it gave me a similar feeling of like the early like when Locking Out had just started, and it's like we're gonna put out our friends' bands that like we like. We're gonna put out the stuff we like, and that's it. And so they had already had a great catalog there, and somehow I think they had. Do you know Josh Tech?
No, I don't.
Okay, he is from Louisville, but
Okay.
he lives in Atlanta. But he's a friend of theirs, and I think it might have kind of had to do with him putting in a word for us too, and a lot of Jim and AC talking, and but it worked out, and it's like, dude, that's the shit. It's like I could not ever give a fuck about being on Roadrunner or like even Pure Noise or some shit, but it's like being on Streets of Hate, like that means something to me, and it's like that's cool to me. Like that's where I want. That's the level and lane I want to be in and be associated with. I want to be associated with these people who are at the shows and give a fuck about hardcore and are at every show. They're everywhere, dude. They go to so much shit. It blows my goddamn mind, dude. But them wanting to do it was crazy. And then we just had the two songs, so we did the covers, and it was like Jim loves Marauder, I love Sheer Terror. Let's fucking do this. Like, so that worked out very well, I think.
Yeah, and you guys continued the relationship.
And then we just came out with the self-titled, and that was fucking great. I love that record. I don't know. I like keeping releases short. Don't ever like expect an LP or anything. I think like no band needs over max, like 6 songs on a release. It's just not wired in our brain to listen to that. But yeah, being on Streets of Hate is it's a blessing, dude, because it's like they care at the level I care and Jim cares, and you can see that.
100%. Yeah, I love to watch how that label has grown over the years, because I remember when they were like the early days and just getting to talk to Alex, who's just been awesome, like from me meeting him to this day.
Man,
yeah, I can text him and he'll respond, so shout out Alex.
It's cool. Like the first time we met, it was just like, I don't know, we kind of didn't skip a beat. We just started talking about Kill Your Idols.
Okay.
So we both love Kill Your Idols, and it was like, let's fucking go. And Nicole's fucking great too. And I don't know, it's something you like want to support. It's something you want to see these people fucking do this for hardcore.
100%. And just love New York hardcore, just the area that they're from. And yeah, I love every band that they've put out, and it's just so cool that they just have this really good ear for hardcore. So once again, when I saw them link up with you guys, I'm like, finally somebody gets it. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it felt really good. I mean, it was like in this like time where it was like Inclination got picked up by Pure Noise, Gates got picked up by Roadrunner or whatever, and then I don't know, like, and now it's Jim's new band getting picked up from within. Like, we're not used to getting picked up by labels here. Like that's where it boils down to. Is like that's some old sentiment. Is like no one gave a fuck about Louisville bands forever, like let alone like wanting to put out the records. So for people to take notice now, it's in all these different labels. It's very special.
Yeah, I think it was just probably just like lack of awareness, right? People probably just weren't in tune.
I think they were aware. I mean, honestly, our bands back then weren't that good either. I don't blame them. But
Damaged Goods could have been signed.
Shit sucked. Another Mistake. That was a good fucking band though.
100%.
Another Mistake demo is probably the best Louisville hardcore release to ever happen.
It's a bold statement.
That's it's right here. You heard it.
Love it. I love getting to hear people's like stories that I didn't even know like listen to Another Mistake. So it's and like not from Louisville but from like out here. So just knowing that there's like respect on that band, it's cool.
It was a fun time, man. It was like, I don't know, we had listened to such bullshit from here for so long that it was just like trying to be the next Another or American Nightmare record, that for a band to just want to sound like Right Brigade was so fucking refreshing, which is funny because it's like Right Brigade is the like most meat and potato shit you can get. But when you live here and everything's either Slint or Endpoint or King Horse, it's like to have a band that just plays normal hardcore. It was immaculate. It was such a great era, man.
And even you think about today where hardcore's heading, I feel like that's like what's like kind of becoming popular again is like these more just like straightforward hardcore bands.
It's picking up a lot. I was talking to Keith from Restraining Order, and we were just talking about like how cool it is that so much of the artwork now for these like bands that pop up is just great. It's like all the like kind of Sean Taggart like spoiler inspired stuff, and all the bands are good too. And it's like I was telling him, man, I just fucking hate I'm never gonna get to see any of these bands because they're gonna exist for 8 months and then break up. But I'm just glad to listen to the music too. So
that's why I try to get out to as much as I can and just enjoy it in real time. Never take being at a show for granted, because it's just like, like these bands that I'm enjoying today could be gone tomorrow. So I'm gonna, try to enjoy it while I can. The cover for the self-titled, can you talk about whose idea that was? Because when I look at that, I'm like, this is just insane.
Dude, it's awesome. It's like a fat goblin, like and like Jesus hanging himself. Yeah. I believe it came from the Hatebreed Integrity split was the original inspiration around that.
Okay.
And then we kind of just wanted like kind of like the brown background, like make it ugly.
Mm-hmm.
But that the dude Dead at Birth, forget his freaking name. My apologies, man.
Kyle?
He did that. Huh?
Kyle?
Yes, Kyle, sorry. He did the artwork for that. And it's fucking killer. It hit the nose on the head of what we want. I think it's great. But.
Yeah, I look at it, I'm like, this is fucking insane. And I think it's funny that you call him a fat goblin, because I just looked at him like a demon. But... Dude,
he's like dude. He looks like me at like 5 years ago at like Wendy's at 6 a.m. Like that's what that fucker looks like, dude.
That's so funny.
Cheers to the goblin, dude.
Yeah, and I'm never gonna be able to unsee that now. So thank you. But you mentioned obviously this Gorilla Biscuit show is gonna happen, and then you guys are gonna just take a break from local shows. Do you have anything planned outside of the local area?
No, absolutely nothing. We did Distorted Mess with Haywire and the Sissy Boys last weekend, and it was fucking sick. Like it was just chaotic and awesome and just a fun fucking day. And then we have the GB show, and then just Chandler, our guitar player, is about to have his child, and then Jim and Peter are doing a new band. I just want them to like have that time to do that, like enjoy it. I need to like kind of dial in with work and shit anyway. So it's like we're just kind of taking the summer off.
All right, summer vacation.
Yeah, exactly. Also, there's just been 50,000 fucking shows in Louisville now, to the point where it's like, please, can we just have a fucking month off from gigs, dude? Like, not even the band, just the scene. Like, we all need to go to like a water park or something.
That's funny that you say that, because I remember I had asked Tyler, I'm like, am I crazy, or has there been like an uptick in shows? Because I'm like, I don't think I've seen this many flyers for Louisville ever. And he was just like, I don't know. He's like, maybe, but it just seemed like
I know it's fucking brutal, dude.
Yeah,
because I've been to all of them, and goddamn, it's heavy, man. But we gotta do what we gotta do, So
Okay.
Hopefully July chills the fuck out, and then August we can do kind of like a big back to school show for the kids or something.
Last thing on Two Witnesses, you guys filmed the
Mhm.
music video back in was November.
Yes.
Can you talk about how you chose the song "Law of the Land" for the music video?
Yeah, I think it was just like it was the easiest, not the easiest, but it was the most appropriate to do. Um, the other three songs, like one has a guest spot, and one is way too personal to make a music video about, and then one is just what do you film this to? So Law of the Land made sense. We did it outside of Portal before the showcase,
I remember.
and yeah, Eric Easterdaily did it, and that was cool. It's just a great song to have a video to. I don't know. It's not too deep other than that.
I remember when you guys went outside to film, and I
Yeah,
cannot wrap my head around the fact that it was so cold. I'm like, what? How are they
it
going to
was
go
not
and
that
film?
cold that day.
Well,
Was it?
I was freezing. Maybe it's because I was sick. I think it was because I was sick. I couldn't handle the cold.
Okay.
But I just remember just thinking, I'm like, these guys are insane. I would not. I don't want to go outside, and they're going to go outside and film a music video. This is wild.
I remember like being on the corner, and that was the first music video I'd ever done. I was like, Eric, I was like, you gotta fucking talk me through this. How's it fucking done? And he's like, just lip sync. And I was like, are you serious? And he's like, yes. So we did that, and I was like, we're talking about the video, and it all get me. I go, guys, there's two things I don't fucking want. I don't want dilapidated buildings with graffiti on them, and I don't want barbed wire fences. That's all. The video gets released. I open it up. It's the two fucking first things I see.
Oh my, that is so funny.
It's just like, but that's how it goes, man.
And you filmed during your set at the showcase, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that's all that footage is from that showcase, and then any of the other footage is from out on the street corner before.
That's wild. But
It was fun though. Don't get me wrong. It was very fun.
I love when bands do music videos. So when I heard that you guys were filming that music video, I remember just thinking, I'm like, okay, I can't wait to see this. And then months later,
Yeah.
it finally
He
came
did
out.
great. Eric did fucking fantastic. And it was cool. Like he does like film shit for like Gojira and shit. Like he's not just like your run of the mill like local hardcore dude to look out for the homies, but he really hooked it up on that. So props to him, man.
100%. Yeah. Before I met him, I knew of his work because he'd filmed these videos for other bands that I knew of. So when I finally made it to Louisville and I met him, I was like, I know who you are. You don't have to introduce yourself to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He's talented. I love his work.
He's the shit, dude. He's funny as fuck.
Honestly, sometimes I when I see him at the fest because he's doing those videos like for every band, I'm like, this guy is insane.
Yeah. He's a nut, man. The rest of us.
Okay. And so we've talked about the other members being in other bands. Have you thought about maybe wanting to start something else?
Working on something. We'll see if it comes to life. Just like more like punk adjacent instead of hardcore, but we'll see what happens. I can't talk too much on it, but it's something that is definitely in the works.
Okay.
But that's about all I can say.
Well, it's good to know that you are staying active.
Yeah.
Because I would hate to see you just kind of be on the sidelines,
I
kind
know,
of doing
fizzle
anything.
out. I know it's
Not fizzle out, because I don't think you would just turn your back and
yeah.
disappear. But from just doing music, because since you've been doing music for so long, so I would just be surprised if you weren't doing something else.
I do want to I would love to do something where I'm not fronting it. Like Two Witnesses is so cool because like Jim really gave me a platform to just like tell it how it was with my life.
Mm-hmm. And
it's like I'm so good on that now. It's like I feel like complete post looking at it that I don't want to write about drug addiction. I don't want to write about these things anymore, even though that is like what I do best. But I don't know. We'll see.
You're gonna write love songs?
I would love to write love songs.
That would be awesome. I'd be interested to hear them because obviously you've been in this relationship for so long. I think it'd be cool.
Dude, she's the best.
She's very
All
nice.
right. The Wicked Garden 7-inch is all about her. It's just not maybe in the best sense. It's more about being fucking insane, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I really do hope whenever or by the time Two Witnesses decides to call it, whenever that is in the long distant future, I hope there really is a West Coast trip involved, because I love a lot of bands from your area, but I feel like I've loved you guys for a long time, since 2021, and I would love to see you out here, and I know you guys would do well. So I hope,
you, man.
I really hope that's in your guys' future.
That means a ton. Before the band is said and done, like, I would love to do a West Coast trip to see our buddies there, a down south trip for like Knoxville and all that shit to see our buddies there, and then like the Northeast to see our friends there. It's like that's all I want. Like, I don't care if the shows suck ass or anything. It's just I've had so many friends come through here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give it back to them a little bit, like, here I'm coming, but, we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, I think it would be nice to see you guys out here.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see. Chandler's about to be a father, so he's probably about to be on lockdown for a bit, but
just bring the baby.
Thankfully, we have 3 guitar players, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Yeah, when I saw that, I once again, Tyler's my reference for everything. I'm like, is that new? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, that's like a newer thing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you gotta do a second glance at it. Whenever Isaac's in town, I think he has the itch to want to just play a core show, which is great, and it's like, he's awesome. So,
dude, did you see his performance with Gates to Hell at the fest?
No, I missed it.
Oh,
I was running around like a madman. I missed it. Was it sick?
Yeah,
of course it was.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, he's awesome. Have you heard the Couldn't Be Me shit?
Yes, Couldn't Be Me is awesome.
First show was so fun. They opened with Invasion by RJ's.
Okay.
And then went right into the set, and they did Thick Skin by Stop and Think. And then Isaac just really got to speak for himself, because a lot of people like to speak for Isaac.
Okay.
About like where he's at in hardcore, which is so fucking frustrating, I imagine, and like his connection to it. So he really got to speak for himself on like, if you don't think I'm a hardcore kid, like, that sounds like a fucking personal problem. And it felt really good to watch him get that out of himself.
100%. Yeah. To have a platform, and especially, obviously he's in arguably like the biggest band in hardcore.
Yeah.
So, but also I really like Everybody Dies.
That one isn't really my thing. Nobody would be surprised to hear I don't like that. So it's not a diss to them. I want Isaac to do all his fucking projects, but no one's gonna be like, bro said Everyone Dies or whatever sucks. It's gonna be like, okay, the sky's fucking blue.
Yeah, I told Tyler, I was like, let me know when the first show happens so I can fly out for that one, because that's how much I like it.
Do you prefer that one?
It's surprisingly I do, and normally that's not my cup of tea, but I don't know why that one resonates with me more than Couldn't Be Me.
But that's the fun of it,
Yeah.
He drops these 2 releases in one fucking day. Like, what a fucking nut, dude.
Yeah, and he doesn't sound like he does in Knock Loose.
No.
Just like, what the? Because that's what I was expecting. That's what I was wanting. But
yeah, but the Couldn't Be Me first show was fucking awesome. I tried to push for them to open the GB show, but it just didn't work out.
Okay, I was gonna ask, because on the flyer it says plus one more.
Dude, how much I've gotten blown up about the plus one more. I'm like, brother, I work at UPS and I play in a hardcore band. I don't know about plus one more. I'm like, it could be fucking, we could have you up there talking.
No,
I don't know.
No, I would turn it down.
I don't think there is a plus one more. So
that is very surprising, because the show's in a couple days.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm gonna have fun. I love GB. I love Killing Time, and By the Grace of God is probably my favorite local band next to Another Mistake. So I'm very much looking forward to it. It sucks. It's $50, but GB has always been $50 to fucking see for 20 years. So
Yeah,
What can you do?
the first time I saw GB, it was in 2006, and it was like such a big deal. They're like
The
this
big reunion, yeah.
yeah, they're like this might be it for GB.
Yeah.
This is 2006, and here we are
with RJ's and Comeback Kid.
Yeah. So
Or I don't know who did the West Coast later the court tour. Here it was Righteous Jams and Comeback Kid. We didn't go, but the lineup was fucking killer.
Yeah, that was like my first opportunity to see Gorilla Biscuits.
Yeah.
But
the last time I saw them was the This Is Hardcore with Lifetime, and that was pretty fucking great.
Yeah, I would love to see Lifetime.
Yeah, Lifetime's the best, dude.
You mentioned Floor Punch. You said what was your favorite band? Is that true?
Floor Punch is probably my favorite hardcore band ever. Yeah.
Okay, I've only seen them once. I would love to see them again. Yeah,
they're awesome. I've seen them, I think, 3 times.
Okay.
But honestly, like 1 or 2 of those was in a haze of my mind. And then United Blood, and then I think United Blood, and then 2 at This Is Hardcore, if I remember correctly.
Can I tell you how I found out about Floor Punch?
Yeah.
My friends used to play in this band called Fight Like Hell out of Denver, Colorado.
That sounds familiar.
And I used to see them all the time. And I remember one time I saw them and they played this one song that sounded nothing like any of the other songs. So I asked the singer after the set, I'm like, yo, like, what was up with that new song? And he's like, this isn't a new song. That was a cover by this band called Floor Punch. You should go home and listen to them. And I was like, Floor Punch. All right. I was like, what was the song called? He's like, it was called Let It Ride. So I'm like, all right, say less. So I went home, listened to Floor Punch because of Fight Like Hell.
Yeah, that's funny as fuck. Obviously, the first time I heard of them was because of the history with Louisville bands here. But so it's like growing up when you were a kid, it was pretty much like burned into you. Like, listen, we fucking hate macho fucking motherfuckers, and we hate Floor Punch because of this thing that happened 15 years before you were born. And it's like, all right, dude, relax, man. You're gonna have a fucking stroke if you keep talking about this. I think just out of spite, we started getting into Floor Punch, and then we were like, oh wait, this band is actually the best band to fucking ever exist. So yeah. I need to still get the book too. I think Brian Garris said he has an extra copy for sale I can buy.
So cool that a band like that could just still have like such an impact on the scene.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. The good, the bad. It's like, I love that. Like, it's just a bunch of friends. It's like kind of like Louisville. It's like a bunch of friends being themselves in a scene that, you know, the things going on weren't really what they wanted out of it, so they changed it. You know, I think that's probably the coolest hardcore can get.
Yeah, my friends play in a band from out here called Firestarter.
I'm sorry, what?
My friends from out here play in a band called Firestarter.
Oh yeah, absolutely, with the fucking Porter song.
Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, what the fuck,
dude? When I listened to that and he hit the like, oh, well, I just dropped a list off at work. I was psyched, dude. I was so fucking. I remember where I was. That's how excited I was.
Yeah, when I heard that, I'm like, this is so sick, and I was like, I was so happy for them too because
band's good.
Yeah, they're sick. They're all super down, and just to see like this new wave of you know, kids coming up, but then like them just getting that kind of love, I'm like, that's so insane, but so fucking cool.
It's a great song.
Yeah,
I wonder if I'll ever get to do that with them live. That would be sick as fuck.
Yeah, I hope I can see them again at some point.
Yeah,
because the one time I saw them was at Sound and Fury 2009.
Okay.
Yeah. But okay, well, Mo, this was awesome.
Yeah, it was very fun. Thank you, man. I hope I delivered. All right.
Yeah, no, you did
first
great.
time ever being interviewed, so cheers to you, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you deciding to come on here. This was great. I will never forget that moment at LDB when we decided to do this. So that moment will you know, be like a core memory of mine.
Yeah.
Because you know, because we never really talked before that, because I obviously knew.
But dude, you're at the bar, like Tyler and Ashton are at the bar, which is fucking one thing on a whole other level.
Okay.
So when they're out, I get revved up like by 10. then I see you're their fucking good friend that comes out, and it's like, I'm not gonna leave this guy hanging. Like, I'm gonna jazz him up a bit. I'm gonna talk his fucking ear off about hardcore. Which, you know, take it or leave it. That's what the fuck I'm gonna do.
Yeah, but you know what else was crazy too is you called me over. I sit down because I didn't even even realize who was there. But when you called me over and we sat down, and then my good friend Josh White is sitting across the table, yeah. I'm like,
yeah,
like what is going on here? This is
best,
insane. Man. But it was so cool.
No, thank you for saying that. Thank you for being such a good friend to Tyler too. I can tell he cares a lot about you, and that's someone I care about deeply. So it's cool to see him have good company with him.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, no, Tyler, I think we get along so well because we're just friends, right? There's nothing extra about it, and like we just get along so well, which is cool too, because it's like this guy, you know, because I was a fan of Inclination before we were even friends.
Okay.
Yeah. So for us to actually just like over time just become actual friends.
I wish they'd do some more shit, dude.
I'm sorry?
I wish they would do some more shit.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe I'll fucking punish them about it. Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for like giving such a shit about Louisville. It's you know, as I was saying, it's like most people never have, and it's like we have good people here with good stories to tell, and they might not be like the biggest names you'll know, but they're genuine people that have built a scene from essentially nothing into what it is that you see now. And I think that deserves to be recognized, even if most places don't.
100%. Well, Mo, appreciate your time. Before we sign off, is there anything else you would like to say? I know we've talked a lot, but I just want to give the floor one more time.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Shout out to you. Shout out to Champagne from Akron, Ohio. Shout out to Haywire on their tour. Mirrorless from Louisville. Split Intention from Louisville. Who Laughs Last. And, you know, that's all I got to say.
All right. Well, I truly appreciate your time, Mo. Thank you for coming on today. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll be back soon. Goodbye.
Yeah.